Hello, it's Ricardo and welcome back to Elite Dangerous. It's time to take a look at a ship that I have spent a lot of time in recently, and that is the Anaconda. Ricardo is going to review the Falcon Delacy Anaconda. We're going to go through the lore, we're going to go through what it can be used for and why it's a true multi-role space superiority ship. The Anaconda is a ship manufactured by Falcon Delacy. It's a ponderous yet highly versatile vessel that can excel in multi-roles and truly is a multi-superiority ship. The Anaconda was originally produced by RIM Liner Galactic and debuted in 2856. The template eventually came into Falcon Delacy's possession following a series of mergers, and only minor changes have been made to the classic design. It's the third most expensive ship currently on the market, behind only the Federal Corvette and the Imperial Cutter. While the Federal Corvette is specialised for combat and the Imperial Cutter is a multi-purpose ship with good cargo carrying capacity, leaning itself to cargo, combat, community goals and also mining, the Anaconda can be competitive and adapted for combat, mining, trading or exploration. Straight off the production line, the Anaconda does have some impressive stats, that being a top speed of 244 meters per second, given the fact it's the size of a double-decker bus, and a double-decker bus, and a double-decker bus, and probably a double-decker bus as well. The top speed of 244 meters per second and a cruise speed of 183 meters per second is also married with a stock jump range of 9.41 with a maximum of 41.43 unengineered. The total range with factory fitted jumping is going to be 59.9 light years. Factory fitted, that is. It's got a 32-ton capacity fuel tank and a maximum cargo capacity of 468 tons, still lacking against the cutter. It does require a large landing pad to dock on, and its dimensions are 152 meters by 61 meters by 31 meters, weighing in at 1,212 tons with a hull mass of 400 tons. Now currently in game, the Anaconda does boast a total of 8 weapon hardpoints and is a great combat ship. The Fer-de-Lance, the Federal Corvette, the Imperial Cutter and the Mamba so far are the only ships capable of equipping Class 4 weaponry, the most powerful weapons that conventional ships can carry. Turreted and gimbal weapons are recommended due to the Anaconda's relatively terrible sausage-like handling, which can make lining up shots quite difficult. The biggest problem with it in combat is simply you just can't get a bead on the person you're trying to shoot. Defensively though, you have got a lot of survivability in the Anaconda. Its 8 utility mounts tied for the highest of any ship in the game, and its potent Class 8 power plant gives you all the power you need. If you're going to do a jumping build, however, you might want to ramp that back a little bit and save a bit of weight. Anyway, the Class 8 power plant does allow a shield generator, a shield cell bank and multiple shield boosters to be activated simultaneously. Also think about the Guardian power plant as well, especially if you want to go through Thargoid occupied caustic space or get into the mix with the Thargoids. You can apply the now ramped anti-Guardian zone resistance to it. Even if those shields fail, however, the Anaconda has a base armor strength of 945 stock, and that can be ramped up quite considerably going to the correct engineer. You boost that with hull and module reinforcement packages, whether they're standard human stock or whether they are Guardian stock, then you can really optimize that hull for strength and modules for resilience. Now your hull can get to a maximum so far in game of 6,137.5 without any engineering, or if you want to engineer it all up, 10,755, sorry. And that's the most of any ship at the moment in game. Although, if you need to get out of things, right? Be careful, because it's not the quickest of cats on the block. It really isn't. Equipping a Class A frameshift drive will give you 41.45 light years before any engineering, and that'll be 9% more with the Achilles SCO drive as well. So it can jump some decent distances. Now the Diamondback Explorer has better range, but it's a smaller ship. You trick this up with Facility Farseer, you get the Achilles SCO frameshift drive, and you'll be knocking on the door to about 90 light years of jump. It's got a large fuel tank and can fit a nice Class 7 fuel scoop, so if you're on the exploration range, don't forget those points. Its real true power though is in its weapon hardpoint locations, which are 2 Class 3s that are mounted parallel on the top of the bow. The third is located underneath its nose. Its single Class 4 hardpoint is mounted behind the bottom large, and the 2 Class 2 hardpoints are embedded in the sides of the ship, hidden between sliding panels that are emblazoned with that Falcon Delacy logo. Finally, the 2 additional Class 1 hardpoints are mounted on the underside of the ship, far back, and they're great for a couple of long-range gimbaled beam lasers, if you know what I mean. The good thing about this is got a large bridge, and you can certainly carry your crew around, and it's great for multi-crew or just picking up your friends if they're in a little bit of a spot of bother, whether that be in a traditional combat scenario or whether you're mixing it up with the Thargoids. Now here are some points and some notes about the Anaconda when I was doing some research on the internet about it. Did you know that the Anaconda is somewhat unusual in the fact that it features 2 cargo hatches? The primary cargo hatch is located towards the front of the vessel, whilst the secondary is located towards the rear of the vessel behind the fighter bay. The forward primary hatch is used to manually scoop items from space and to deploy SRVs, while the rear secondary hatch is used by collector limpets when retrieving canisters or materials. When the cargo scoop is toggled, only the forward primary hatch will be lowered. Well, I didn't know that. How many of you knew that? Anyway, I'll continue. Due to the location of the cargo hatch on the Anaconda, deploying an SRV will cause the SRV to fall the distance to the ground, or in the case of boarding will cause the SRV to float upwards. I wonder if they fixed that. Due to the hatch location, it can be difficult to get the SRV in the correct position to board. Never had that problem. However, prior to a patch, the Anaconda's cargo hatch would open directly in front of one of its lower hardpoints, causing clipping issues. Now we know they fixed that. The Anaconda is the only ship in the game to visually show damage to its hull, with pieces of its armour coming off, and more damage being shown as its hull health lowers. And that's all purely cosmetic, but it's a really good addition into the game. And I remember when I first saw it, I thought, oh my god, they've put damage in with the rest of the ships, but alas, they haven't. All you'll get is a couple of peppered marks, you'll get some bullet holes, some scoring on your ship, and then when you re-instance, all that is currently gone. Did you know that when using a standard docking computer or advanced docking computer at star points, the ventral side of the Anaconda will sometimes brush against the entrance slot? Doesn't cause any damage though, even if there's no shields equipped. And an Anaconda graveyard is also located in HD 76133 at Elysium's Rest, Planet 1C. And I've got a video on that on the channel, so check it out. It's from, I think, one of the Distant World expeditions that was done. You'll normally see Anacondas that have been there or abandoned or have been used as a base of operations because they've become stranded. Their cargo have been arranged outside as if there's been a living habitat made out of the remnants of the ship, and sometimes awnings out of the side of the ship as well to shade people from the sunlight. This has been prevalent when we've seen Thargoid v human battles way off out in the black. The Anaconda truly is a behemoth in every sense of the word. It casts a long shadow across the vast expanse of Elite Dangerous Galaxy, and its lore goes really deep. This versatile ship is a mainstay for both aspiring commanders and seasoned veterans, and it boasts a rich history intertwined with the lore of the game. The first whispers and our first experience of the Anaconda was that of the villain in the Elite Dark Wheel novella, a 48-page short story by the well-known fantasy author Robert Holstock. It came packaged with the original Elite game in 1984. And this was the first novella in history to be included for distribution with a video game. Now, the novella actually sets the mood and atmosphere of the Elite series in a cohesive manner. It covers combat and trading between different systems and describes what it really means to become one of the Elite. Now, like we said, the villain in this novella was the Anaconda. Now, even though this novella was actually published with Elite Dangerous back in 1984, this novella actually predates the ship series. Here, the Anaconda serves as a flagship of a notorious pirate group, the Black Cobra, I believe. Its immense firepower and cargo capacity paint a picture of a vessel capable of wreaking havoc and amassing vast spoils of war. Even though the Anaconda's official debut with the Elite Dangerous universe came with Elite in 1984, it has cemented its reputation as a formidable combat and highly sought after commodity. In Elite 2 Frontier, that was in 1993, everybody, further established the Anaconda as a pinnacle of late-game progression, requiring significant resources and piloting skill to acquire and master. When Elite Dangerous came to us in 2014, this inherited the Anaconda's legacy, and it remained a powerhouse, being the first major capital ship that people aspired to. I say capital ship, it's hardly that really, it's perhaps one of the biggest ships in the game, although it's one of the big four that are currently in the game as of the 23rd of July 2024, that being the Federation Corvette, the Imperial Cutter, the Type 10, the Alliance, and of course the Anaconda. Now, the Anaconda, like we said, is a huge behemoth and powerhouse of firepower. It boasts 8 hardpoints, allowing for a devastating array of weaponry, from nimble pulse lasers to devastating railguns, shotguns, guardian weapons, and can hold itself in a Thargoid fight. It's got huge amount of armour, and the Anaconda's hull can withstand significant amount of punishment, especially when properly engineered. And its generous internal compartments mean that it's always of good use for not only exploration, but also a little bit of cargo carrying as well. Now, it's not all so good to be true, is it, with anything in this world, and the Anaconda does come with its own drawbacks. With manoeuvrability, this behemoth handles like a lumbering space-faring sausage, let's put it that way, and dogfights against agile fighters require quite a different approach, relying on superior firepower and strategic positioning over manoeuvrability. The jump range, in standard configuration, can be quite respectable. However, if you engineer it up and then strip out all the armour and being funky, you can have some of the greatest jump ranges in the game, especially with the new Achilles frameshift drive, SEO. Now, with docking limitations, that's also another drawback, because this requires a large pad, like several other large ships in the game, so you may not be able to land at your favourite station or outpost, and certainly you won't be able to land at an orbital outpost, because that's medium and small only. So sometimes being bigger is not always better. Now, when you want to unlock the potential of the Anaconda, Elite Dangerous's engineering system will allow you, the commander, to push that Anaconda beyond its base capabilities and its limits. Upgrading the frameshift drive extends that jump range, while dirty drag drives enhances the manoeuvrability. These modifications do come at a significant cost, not only with materials but unlocking the engineers as well, but it also makes the Anaconda useful. There's nothing worse than seeing a novice commander with an Anaconda because he's completed all the community goals and doesn't know how to fly it. So, obvious strengths, obvious drawbacks, but the most overlooked strength is its versatility. For combat, bounty hunting, with those 8 hardpoints, the Anaconda can pack a serious punch. Load it with cannons, pulse lasers and multi-cannons to tear through wanted targets. However, its sluggish turning, as we've mentioned, does mean you're going to have a little bit of a battle for that huge spacefaring sausage to get on target. If you're in player v player mode, it's not the most nimble of ship either. You could get taken out by perhaps a more agile ship, even a Viper or a Sidewinder could theoretically take you out if it was able to stay out the way of your opening salvos. For bulk trading, the Anaconda boasts a massive cargo hold, allowing you to haul significant quantities of goods across vast distances. However, its jump range in stock is somewhat limited when fully loaded, so consider other ships, I would say, perhaps the Imperial Cutter, for doing your cargo runs for your community goals. It's not always about a Type 9. Rare goods trading, while not ideal for scooping up resources in asteroid belts or at signal sources or going along the rare goods trading route, the Anaconda cargo capacity is a boon for this. With exploration, however, and long-range exploration, although not the undisputed king of exploration, the Anaconda can be outfitted for extended voyages. Engineer up that FSD and make sure it's the new Achilles FSD for the maximum jump range, and get nigh on over 80 light years of jumpability. But remember, you're going to need some fuel tanks, and you're also going to need a fuel scoop to stay out in the black. Now, why it's not really the best miner on the planet? You don't really have to be that nimble when mining. The Anaconda can be fitted for either laser or core mining with its multiple hardpoints, and can be a good multi-superiority role in that occupation, should we say, as a miner. If you're running missions, the Anaconda's versatility makes up for tackling most mission types, especially those requiring combat or cargo hauling. But let's be fair, you've got to be careful of the size and make sure that your missions don't have you going to a small or medium pad. Each of these roles do require specific setups, research and experimentation with the engineers to get it perfect for your playstyle. As you know, I like my Scoutaconda and my Causticconda and my Jumperconda for getting around. Those are the roles that I have it in. If in doubt, go with an Anaconda if you can get hold of one. Now let's be fair, the Anaconda is not going to be for everyone. Its high cost and demanding piloting style can be daunting for new players. You're going to need a lot of money, and then a lot of money to kit it out, and then a lot of materials to upgrade what you've kitted it out with. However, for those of you who are seeking a powerful and versatile ship and are long in the tooth in the game, shall we say, or you're experienced in Elite Dangerous, then the Anaconda could well be that excellent choice you've been looking for. Its rich history, immense customization potential and enduring role in the Elite Dangerous community does solidify its place as a true legend in the Elite Dangerous galaxy. And the question on everyone's lips are, with Frontier releasing new variants of ships, are we going to get an Anaconda version 2? Let me know in the comments. Thanks very much for listening. I've been Ricardo.